Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to the Pre-Scout. We are here on WagerTalk TV every single weeknight at 10 p.m. Eastern, breaking down games from the next day, giving you guys the latest information in the NHL, and of course, keeping you guys up to date with our best bets, our picks, and our thoughts around the league. I'm super excited to have Cam Stewart joining me on today's show. And yes, guys, if you're watching, this is a recording from earlier in the day, so we do not have the results of the scores for Friday night, but we will give you our thoughts on some Saturday games, try and blast through the card. And I'm curious to hear what Cam has had to say about the start to the NHL season. You know, we're only about 6 or 7 games in for some of these teams, but we have had some shocks so far, some teams underperforming, some teams overperforming. And, well, I think that we all know Saturday is the best day to watch hockey of the week in the NHL. So I always want to have someone to talk with as we go over the Saturday slate. We'll have some picks, some thoughts. Some games will have more to say than others, but more importantly, looking forward to chatting with Cam Stewart. So we won't waste any time. We got to get him in here. Cam, thanks so much for being here, man. How are you?
Oh, McInnis, looking good. What are you going to a job interview, buddy? You don't need a job interview. Looking slick. Bob Blazer. How you doing? And me, I'm on my 2-shirt rotation, McInnis. I got to get a real mic like you guys, so I don't have to wear these clip-ons like I'm doing a Dateline NBC episode in the interrogation room. Did you kill your wife? Anyway, how are you doing, buddy? Great weekend. We got the World Series. We got hockey every night. NBA started. Hell, I'm still betting golf, McInnis. Like, it's nuts. Like, I'm looking down at the sports board going, I wish I was rich because I want to put like 100 bets in and I can't. Got to keep on hitting some winners. But nice to see you. I know you had Gabe on the show earlier and hope things are going well with you. And yeah, we could talk about a lot of things right now. A lot of teams surprising and a lot of teams off to very slow starts. And wherever you want to take it, McInnis, you captain the ship, brother.
Cam, it's the fake it till you make it mindset. I'd have a couple golf shirts going if I was in your position on the TV, radio every night. We got to get there someday. But yes. You know what? This show has been fun so far. We're growing. And I have my show I do every single weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. But this has been a new one at night. So if people weren't sick of me before, they're going to be now because we're talking hockey pretty much every 11 hours of the day. But before we get started, Cam, just, of course, want to say thanks for how good you've always been to me over the years. I've loved getting to know you, chatting with you. You helped me get jobs. So just really always enjoyed chatting with you and appreciate you being here with me today, man.
Wow, McInnis. And I'll tell people out there, and, you know, there's a lot of guys in this industry who are like really real. And McInnis is one of them. Like, I consider you, Chris Meany, guys I really respect that I've worked with in the past before. You know, me and Gabe, he's a pioneer. We've been doing this stuff for like 20 years. And, you know, I try to bring some happiness. And know what it is, McInnis, for me? Sports. That's why I just have fun. I crack jokes. Like, I was either going to get into comedy and sports and we do this stuff. Like, I watch some of these sports shows and it's like going to a funeral. That's why I got into this industry, so I wouldn't have to deal with things like that, with problems in my life. But you've been awesome to me, and anything I could do to help you, I will. Guys out there, support McInnis. He's a real good dude, a great guy. And yeah, anything, and very good hockey capper and sports capper, by the way. We got CFL action and everything too, McInnis, but I know you want to focus on hockey right now.
Well, we're always having fun. That's what I like. And when it's been me, you, and Gabe on there, there's no shortage of shots taken. There's no shortage.
Mostly at me.
Well, I'll tell you, I said the same thing to Gabe when I had him on. Is I remember when I used to start coming on with him, and it was like super late at night, especially for where I am.
Yep.
And he used to say, like, sometimes to me, like, how some people that he'd worked with in the past, like, never wanted to disagree. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you know, we both know Gabe. He's a very strong, opinionated person. That's how most hosts are anyway. But during the breaks, him and I would say, and he'd be like, dude, you're fine. Like, that's the whole point of this. So the more and more I grew, the more I got comfortable, you know, backing my opinion or making more jokes and things. Because he said, dude, if you agreed with every bet that I had, every opinion I had, what's the point of us talking together?
Exactly.
The more comfortable I got, the more fun we had. But I love it because we're talking CFL for like 40 minutes on the new podcast. And it ends up just being jokes or us ripping on somebody or finding a way to have some fun. But NHL season just started, Cam.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to overreact, to underreact. And as a Canadiens fan, I'm pumped. Besides what happened on Thursday night, I couldn't believe that loss, choking the lead away against the Oilers. But I won't be here to complain about my Habs. But off the top of your head, I mean, which teams are impressing you? Which teams do you think are really underachieving? Both teams in Florida right now, just the bottom of the barrel in that Atlantic division. But across the board, betting perspective or just general NHL, which teams are you impressed by?
I got to tell you, McInnis, like the Florida Panthers, what they've done, hockey's different than other sports, right? Like every day you go in there, you get pounded. And I will say this too, they party better than anybody when they win, right? That's the whole thing. Like we all played the game before. I remember when we won something, that's the whole thing. You work hard and play hard. And I think it's finally caught up to the Panthers. I think they'll be fine in the end. But Andrew, I got to be honest with you. My brothers out there, my little cousins are out there, huge hockey fans. Calgary, it's a real problem. And I remember the night I did the show with Gabe, I told him, I like the Flames against Montreal getting 105. He's like, why? Why would you like the Flames? I go, well, I think they're in a good spot. And they actually tied up the game. They outshot Montreal. Wolf stood on his head. I'm like, where's the damn scoring? Like, what is happening here? First line, second line, third line. Like, I know they overachieved before, but every night, McInnis, one goal. And their goalies haven't been bad. They've been hung out to dry. I watch Calgary play. And there's definitely major things wrong with this team. Nobody's stepping up. Who's the leader? And I don't care if you make 40 freaking saves. Like your goaltenders are getting hung out all the time. You're not scoring. Like I got to say, McInnis, they would be considered to me one of the teams that I think is doing really poorly. The Leafs. It'll take a while for them to get it together, but unacceptable. Losing games all the time. You know what I mean? Just getting beat up. Berube's already pissed off. I know it's going to take time without Marner to get kind of, new guys on the team, young guys get acclimated, but it's the work ethic, McInnis. That's what I'm talking about. Like I watch Carolina play. I watch these other teams play, always in position. Like the Leafs, they dog it. And that's been a problem for a while. Where's that extra gear, right? And it's very frustrating because they don't do the things that you need to do to win games. So 2 Canadian teams right now, Calgary, Toronto, not well. Watching Carolina, McInnis, I know you've been high on these guys for a long time. They look fantastic to me. They look like, obviously, if they stay healthy, a Stanley Cup contender. Anaheim, we talked about them at the start of the year. That was our kind of like dark horse team. It was a trendy pick, but so far, I like what the Ducks are doing. So those are things that I'm looking at right now. And I don't know, I think Calgary, they got a real problem. And McInnis, since you came on with Gabe Show, I'm like, yeah, the Sabres reach. Yeah. And then after that, the Sabres win. They come back against Detroit. So good on the Sabres, actually. And by the time of taping, playing the Leafs, but they've been playing a lot better hockey after a horrible start. They kind of slapped it up and said, let's start playing. At least the effort's there.
And I'm always excited. I'll always pump the tires for anybody around my direction. My old man's from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and Colton Ellis. He was an East Coaster in the East Coast League. Then he played a ton of games in the AHL, and he finally got his first start. And Cam, I always say, and for goaltenders, it's you're more likely to get your first start and to kind of get yourself out there on a bad team, right? Like it's hard for a goalie to step into an Avalanche organization and be a young goalie. Well, what better place to land than Buffalo to get your start? Right. So Ellis gets his first win there to back up. And Alex Lyon, how about Lyon playing pretty well? This is a guy that we used to rip on. We used to think this guy was an automatic 4 goals, and now all of a sudden he's playing pretty well. So the Buffalo Sabres, I keep on mentioning this on the show. I watch games, Cam, and I love the games, but I have gone a little bit more into these analytics stuff. And one thing that you're not going to be surprised by, and I found this on moneypuck.com, Calgary's shooting percentage is dead last in the league at 2.09%. So it kind of begs the question, like, are they going to eventually get it going, or is this just who they are? Obviously, it's not going to sustain at that low of a level, but this Calgary Flames team, and I got to get your thoughts, like Dustin Wolf, only really a second-year goalie, maybe 2.5 years into the league, calling out his team after that loss against Montreal. He said, and I quote, "I can't generate offense for them. My job." I love when goalies say that. I can't score the freaking goals. What do you think about a goalie dogging his team like that? They kind of deserve it, I guess.
I think you gotta be careful, but I think he's in the right, McInnis. Because there's too many veterans on that team to not be playing this well. It's almost like they weren't ready to play. And you watch that game against Montreal with counterattacks and stuff. And I get it. Calgary scored on a Montreal mistake, but I'm looking at them going, how are you generating offense? Like it's just up and down, not really good scoring chances. They take a lot of bad shots. And you know what? He's a good goalie. You're a Canadiens fan. They had times in the game where I'm watching going, oh my God, the guy's on a clear breakaway. You don't even see that stuff in the NHL anymore. Like 3 times. And Wolf's diving around, making saves. I'm like, where's a freaking defenseman here? Like, where are you guys coming back? He actually held them in the game to get a point. I just think it's a real problem, McInnis. I don't know what you think, like what needs to be done. Like Kadri's a leader. There's guys on that team. I'm not going to say they should be great, but the effort's not there either. And that's a big problem. I don't mind a young goaltender calling out a team when and the thing is, when do you play these guys as in a betting perspective? When's the spot? I thought the spot was against Montreal, and you still can't get it done. Desperate team losing games at home, and they still fail. That's a problem.
And Montreal had a good homestand. It was their first game with a road trip. You're feeling good about themselves. Like you said, Calgary needed a win, good performance. That was a Calgary spot, and the odds kind of indicated it because they were lower on Montreal than anybody would have thought they were. But Calgary just couldn't score.
How do you pronounce this place where Ellis is from? Waikamak? What's it called?
Waikagama. Yeah, it's
like, wow, what a
community.
That's awesome. I lived in Yellowknife. Waikagama. What a name of it. Wow, Nova Scotia. Woo! What's the population, buddy? It's probably small.
Yeah, very small. It's like I'm actually shocked they use that name. Yeah, it's a very, very tight community. Like, you know how typically, like, instead of saying like Mississauga, they'll say someone's from Toronto or something like that. So I'm kind of shocked that they actually put that specific of a community for him.
That's cool. I like what they did in the World Series for Naylor from Mississauga, Ontario. He literally grew up like the Catholic school, like right down the street, like his family. It's nice to do. It got 1.5 million people. Why say Toronto? It's not Toronto. It's a damn city, right? So.
Yeah, like whenever I meet people when I go away or anywhere, and I'm like, people say like, "Oh, they're from Toronto." My first thing I say back to them is like, "Okay, so where are you really from?"
Yeah,
because I know you're not from downtown Toronto. You're probably from somewhere else. So
Amazing.
But I guess they're not used to people knowing where anywhere else is. I guess that they talk to.
That is true. So I don't know what else you're thinking, McInnis. Is there any team for you that you're kind of like, been very impressed by? And what's your team that you're kind of like, I don't really like what I'm seeing so far? The Devils have been playing pretty good hockey.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the Devils. But as far as teams that I'm dogging on, it's just those two Florida-based teams. I mean, you already touched it with Florida. Maybe they partied a bit too hard. Tampa Bay is the team that really, really kind of disgusted me looking at what they've done here so far. Kucherov had the flu for 2 games. Tampa Bay can have Kucherov having the flu and all of a sudden they play like the San Jose Sharks? What's the deal here? This team can't score goals. They still have Braden Point, Jake Gensel, and Hagel and these guys, and they can't put the puck in the net. So that kind of shocked me. But yeah, the New Jersey Devils, you mentioned them. I've been really impressed by them a little bit. Vegas is not really a hot pick by any means, but Vegas, just to me, the consistency of their scoring, it's like the chemistry didn't take any long at all with Marner. That's been kind of cool to see. Chicago has really been a team that I've been impressed with.
I agree.
Because you know what? They're not winning every game, but it's just almost like when you watch them, you're seeing a different gear with this team. It's not like they're a laughing stock
they beat
anymore.
The Blues. What did they beat the Blues that night? Was it 8-3, McInnis? Or
yeah,
like
8-3.
Like, when has Chicago done that in the last few years? Like taking a decent team and like beating them up, like saying like, we're going to not just win, destroy you. Like, I got to be honest with you, as a fan base, like I would almost rather be a Blackhawk fan than a Toronto Maple Leaf fan because they have something to look forward to in the future. Well, these guys just keep on spinning their wheels. So yeah, I'm looking, McInnis, I see some odds for Saturday. I guess we can take a look at some games, some look ahead spots, and I know they're going to change, but nice busy sked. And the thing I like about Saturday is while I'm on the air with Gabe on Sports Grid at noon to 3, it's obviously a college football betting show, but we got a couple early hockey games, which I really enjoy on Saturday afternoon.
The early starts. Yeah, it gets the day started, kind of sets the tone, and you either win and you're fired up or you're pissed and you're like, all right, we got to get it back. We got to get going. One last thing about Chicago. People love betting the puck lines. They have not lost a game on the puck line so far this season. And in fact, they just cashed the largest underdog ticket of the season so far, beating Tampa Bay on Thursday night. But every single game they've been involved with so far that they've lost, they've only lost by 1. And of course, they've had some big wins as well. That 8-3 one over the Blues was huge. But yeah, looking into Saturday's board, are you with me? Do you have any type of theory as far as like games that start earlier? I tweeted out last week, and Florida had like, I think 8 power plays, but it really feels like all these early games tend to go under, or at least have slow starts to them. What do you think here? Is it something we should start tracking here? Because it's like always boring starts.
It'll start this way, McInnis, and then it'll flip on a dime. It seems to be going this way in a cycle for the last couple of years. And I know because the Sabres always play those early games too. And I tend to take them in early games. Like, you know what I mean? I know they lost to Colorado in an earlier game when they were playing really poorly, but they play a lot of early games. I do like unders. I don't know why. Like, you would think it could be the other way, like waking up groggy, sleepy, making kind of bad mistakes. But I think it's almost the other way where they're ultra focused on saying, hey, we're out of our rhythm, so we better do this and this and this. And other teams, hockey players, like, damn, you've interviewed guys, McInnis. They're such creatures of habit. same socks, same underwear, same meal, same situation all the time. I arrive at this, but things are going well. They'll never get out of their routine. But these early games, I really do agree with you. I think there's unders because teams are actually playing a lot better defensively. Like the first game out of the box, though, I know the Islanders won their last game. This is a spot for me for the Philadelphia Flyers. If they can't get it done against the Islanders at home, I'm seeing a quarter right now, McInnis. I'll lay it down with the Flyers. They've really let me down when I bet them. Usually lose by 1 goal, so I guess a puck line play with them has been okay in an underdog role, but I don't know how you feel about that game out of the break. I'd probably lean under, but I like the Flyers as my side on Saturday.
Yeah, I do lean towards the under, and this Islanders team, we can't really ignore right now the goals that they're scoring, but I don't think this can be sustained. I don't think that they're an offensive juggernaut. I got to say, this Schaefer kid is unbelievable. Like I've been betting more props this season. Last year, I kind of took a break from it. It's shocking to see what his odds are already, Cam, to get a point or to get an assist. Like, how is this guy in his sixth or 7th career game, and he's already like plus 100 for a point?
Oh, I know.
It's crazy, but he's unbelievable. Do you believe in the whole, I guess not fat and sassy thing, but the whole motivation? Like this Islanders team should be feeling pretty good after a 7-2 win over the Red Wings. Meanwhile, Flyers aren't going to be really feeling too good coming into this one. So kind of like that short price. I'm with the Flyers as well as you are.
One quick question, McInnis. Like I know you're talking about props, and I really want to get this out there. And I know a lot of the modern guys, I'm older, like I'm over 50 now. So I do play occasional props when you give me a tip or whatever. But I do have an issue. And I know, Gabe, we were railing on this stuff for like 40 minutes on the podcast, but I really have an issue with the way shots is tracked. And that's one of these things that I bet guys, and I've counted, I've watched, I've documented, I have pen and paper, computer, the whole thing going, there's no way this guy didn't have 5 shots when they say he had 2 or 3. And I'm like, I'm done with this. Points and goals, assists, whatever, that's another thing. But what's your opinion on that? Because until they clean this thing up, like, I really don't like the way it's handled. And we've talked about it, like banging like 3 saves in the crease. They count 1 shot. I'm like, it's so arbitrary. And that's not cool when you're betting.
Like you're in tight, you're in close in the crease. You shoot once off the pads, you shoot twice off the pads, and they don't call it 2 shots, they call it 1. And I feel like if you need a guy over 3.5 shots on goal, you better hope he gets 6 because, and a couple websites that I use, they have shot attempts. And I really love looking at the shot attempts because you can kind of, that helps you track it. Okay, is this guy actually getting high volume? And my new thing that I look at is like his shot attempts has to be at least 2 or 3 more than the actual shot number that we need to get because it's ridiculous. But to your point, I've mostly turned to just the points, just the player points. And one thing I started doing this year, I saw so many people online having success with the Cam, and I took the bait. I started doing this. I'll pair 2 players together. It's not really like a big same game parlay with a million legs, but it's like, hey, I think that, Austin Matthews and William Nylander are both going to get a point tonight. So, but one of them by themselves is like minus 200, but you put them 2 together and you're getting a pretty good number. And I know it's kind of like a lot of times you're taking some chalk, but, big thing for me is the power play units with props. Like I check the power play units, or even you can check the PP2, the second unit coming over the boards, and you can kind of see what those guys are doing and who's out there. But you're right. It's ridiculous. Like you're at home. You're like half asleep on your couch watching a West Coast game. You're like, Adrian Kempe has 5 goals. Why does it say just 1 for him? So it doesn't really make sense for that one. But that's why it's been a little bit tougher to bet props, really.
And guys, if you're new to this stuff, and McInnis is great at it too, but this is the one thing about hockey. You can make pregame bets, but take a look at the games last night. Like Montreal was up. You bet Edmonton comes back, and then it's tied or whatever. This live betting market for hockey is nuts. Like every single game last night, like Colorado was down, they kind of came back. It's like you get crazy numbers. It's like a team who's a pick'em turns like minus 240. It's not a soccer match, McInnis. It's a hockey game. It's very, very different. And we've talked about that. So guys, live betting, a lot of the time you like a team early, they're down. Who cares? Like, you know what I mean? You come back, hit them up plus 1.5 money line, however you want to bet it. But I think hockey betting live is so good. It's one of the best sports to bet live.
Things can change on a dime. You can see a game have a slow first period start. I know one thing that a few people that I talked to started doing, Cam, where if the first period resulted in 0-0, people were betting the second period over. It's like, all right, that's right. All right, we'll see a slow start. Who cares? We're going to bet the live over. But you know what, Cam? the Boston Bruins here, they had that West Coast road trip, had 1 or 2 wins, then it didn't go very well against a handful of those teams. Well, good luck to them. They had to come back home and play Florida. And oh yeah, that's right. Now their next matchup is against the Colorado Avalanche. Doesn't get much easier for this Boston Bruins team here. What do you think about this matchup for them?
I lean Colorado. How do you feel about the total over in this game, though? I know we talked about unders. I lean Colorado. That was a really crazy game against Carolina, McInnis. But I'm going to say this. If Boston's going to get it done, maybe this is a spot. Colorado's played a lot of hockey. This is a game I'm kind of looking at with pause. Colorado's a better team. I want a little bit more with Boston. What's your opinion on this one? I'm seeing a 5.5 total. I love the Flyers game. This one, I always try to make a case for the dog, but can Boston hang with Colorado? And the fact that Colorado lost to Carolina, be it in like overtime, if they won that game, I'd feel a lot better about taking Boston at plus 145.
I agree. Like, I never really want to fade Colorado off a loss. That team, just what they're capable of. Mm-hmm. One thing that bothers me about Boston right here, though, Cam, is that they lost a game in which they scored 5 goals. Like, what happened to the Boston we used to know, right? If you would have told, and I'll be the first to tell you, I had Boston actually against Anaheim, and I've liked Anaheim this year just like yourself, but I was like, this is a real good spot for Boston. And I do think Anaheim's younger team going to play better at home, tried to fade them on the road here in this one. Cam, part of me was initially looking at this one thinking maybe we see the under because that's the only way Boston can win. But a lot of times what I like to look at is the best team is going to indicate the total, right? The best team indicates the pace of the game, and we all know it's Colorado. So if Boston has a puncher's chance, they're going to have to open the floodgates up and score again. So 5.5 here. I know this could end up out of 6. I think people watching this right now, if you like 5.5 with us, I'd bet this earlier because we could see a 6 in this one. Overall, Bruins defensive core, like it's not what it once was either. And they're going to rely on Swayman a lot, man. They're going to
take a look at Swayman now. He's hovering around, 902 save percentage. Gone are the days of 925, 935. Swayman is a great goaltender, but he can only do so much. I hate to say this. I think the guy's on the decline. In my opinion, Korpisalo could be a nice guy. Never met him. I think he's a horrible goaltender. That is my opinion on Joonas Korpisalo. I think he's been with a million different teams for a reason. He can catch fire once in a while, but McInnis, take a look at his numbers. Like, they're awful. And Boston's defensive core is not they don't have any depth. This is a team on the decline. They'll still show up sometimes. And another thing about them is, and you're on the East Coast, so you probably get a lot of Boston games with Montreal. I find a lot of the time their stars slack in a lot of games too. They got a lot of lazy, just some games you're just like, wow, the Bruins really suck. Then they'll turn it on and stuff. They're not consistently working at that pace that I like. Like, even Montreal, your team, they can lose games, but I like, they're hustling. There's certain teams like that. They're always going to give their effort. Boston's not one of those teams, in my opinion. I think their goaltending is not where it needs to be, and their defensive core is a real problem.
And let's be honest, with losing Marchand and some of the guys that they have, no offense to this roster, but it's not really full of a bunch of big names. Right. Like, it's a lot of no-name guys. So, but I do lean towards the over with you. For what it's worth, Colorado, number 1 in the league right now in expected goals. So this team continues to put chances out there. Boston, however, they're near the bottom, I'd say. They're not creating a ton of chances. They're near the bottom as far as their defense. They're actually top 10 in offense. So that might make our case right there for the over. But David Pastrnak versus the world. It's pretty much what it is for this team. David Pastrnak, and that's about it. One thing, I think they miss Allmark. Like, this is what happens when you have Swayman sitting every third game. All of a sudden, now you're relying on him to play 70% of the hockey games. It's a little bit different. Anaheim, Tampa Bay. Look, Cam, this is minus 230. Total's 5.5. This is the type of thing where it's like in the NHL, we see such not trends, but the team's in a rut and you want to keep fading them. But now I almost feel like if you haven't made money fading the Tampa Bay Lightning, it could be near the end of the rut. But at the end of the day, though, as well, I also don't want to keep losing money going on this Tampa Bay Lightning team. So what do I do here, Cam? What do you think?
Well, you know what? I like Tampa Bay in this spot, and I'm with you. Anaheim's been great to us. Can you believe these guys, McInnis? Look at their home record. They don't win at home. Like, it's just, I'm looking at it going, is this real? This is where things get real for Anaheim, though. They're a very good team. Tampa Bay, if you can't put it together now after this start, it was kind of like what I felt about Calgary, but I was wrong that night when Montreal won in overtime. So, but Tampa Bay, you could take them -1.5 regulation or a parlay piece. And McInnis, I think I do have a team to go with them. We'll get to this game. Buffalo and Toronto, I learned something a long time ago. History tends to repeat itself. Leafs in Buffalo over, Buffalo at Toronto under. We're taping this show on Friday. It's a back-to-back. If that game goes over, I will be on the under 6.5 in Buffalo, Toronto, and I can make a case for a money line parlay with the Leafs and Lightning and turn it into plus money. I know we look for more and we try not to do as many parlays, but I think this is a good spot for both teams that have underachieved so far this year to get it right.
Great stuff. I don't mind a good two-teamer by any means. Good little two-teamer, and it helps reduce the odds. Like, one thing that's helped me over the last 2 years, Cam, have better success with my NHL was just reducing my odds. Like, as you know, I've played a lot more team totals. I've played a lot more puck line, different things, like whatever it is to just, but yesterday I had the -0.5 in the first period, both Florida teams, and they both, one of them lost the first period, and then one of them I think was tied. So that was a bit frustrating. So Leafs and Tampa, money line parlay, two teams that have hated each other over the years. We're going to put them together and sing kumbaya.
Two teams that have pissed us off too, but they're going to come through on Saturday night. Oh, McInnis, I'm going to tell you though, this Buffalo-Toronto stuff, it's almost weird, like the history of this matchup. And I've been to tons of games in Buffalo. I've been more games in Buffalo because the seats were cheaper when I watched the Leafs play. Every time the Leafs go to Buffalo, it's like a 7-6 game. It's absolutely madness. I don't know why. Like, I'm telling you, it's almost over all the time. They come back to Toronto, 6.5. I'll be taking the under in this hockey game. But if the Leafs can't get it right, say they lose in Buffalo, I'll be hammering them in a parlay. If they win, I still kind of like them. But this is one thing, they got to turn it up. Buffalo's been playing better, and we take Toronto and Tampa Bay to plus money. That's something I can live with, even if one of the legs goes down. But I'll tell you, over in Buffalo, unders in Toronto have been going on for years, buddy.
Sweet. Yeah. Overs in Buffalo. And we're almost cheering for Toronto to lose tonight on the Friday night.
Yes.
Like, we're hoping they lose and then come back and have a really good performance at home. 100%. All right, Cam, a bunch of games to get to. We'll try and blast through. We don't have to touch on all of them. I don't want to keep you too long. But I see you doing all kinds of shows, not just on Sports Grid, everywhere else. Where can people find you? What's new and exciting? I started doing some work with Pat Mayo, and I see you having these hilarious segments on his show. You guys are awesome on that show, but let people know where they can find you, man.
Thanks. I appreciate that. On Sports Grid, I'm kind of more like I crack a few jokes, but on these other shows, I'm kind of like an animal, and they let me out of my cage, which I really enjoyed in doing because it's so much fun. Here's the deal. On Mayo, we do an NFL pick show. So on the Pat Mayo Media Network, McInnis is there now. Just catch the videos. We do 60-second picks with sound effects and all sorts of crazy stuff. I love doing it.
Pterodactyl.
I know. Eagles. And what's the difference between your eagle and your falcon, Cam? I don't know. I'm making a bird sound, bud. Like, what do you want from me? It's hard to do. Like, and we do it on the fly. Also, SDPN, Steve Dangle Podcast Network. There's a good buddy that Gabe and I used to work with, Camera 2, Drew. We do football picks and stuff. So those videos are on Twitter and other areas there, McInnis. So yeah, like I don't do as much throughout the week. I'm working for a lot of different companies. Let's just call me basically Frank Freelancer. I'm kind of working for this guy and this guy and this guy. And hopefully maybe one day we could even work together too, because I find working for different shows and doing different things is good for you. It doesn't put you in one box. It lets you do a lot of different things, and you could bet on different sports and take different angles. So that's kind of like what I love to do. I love doing different things with different people. Like when I work with Morency, he's kind of the captain of the ship. I'm more the color guy there. And then I go on other shows and I get to like be an absolute animal and have like all sorts of, so it's good. It shows different sides of your personality. And I want to work, like, to me, working the same job every day, it's kind of like not my thing. I get crazy. I want to get out of the house. I want to do different stuff. And that's why I bet on so many different sports, right, McInnis? Variety is the spice of life.
I love it. And to your point, like, like for me, like I love doing interviews, whether it's with athletes or other hosts and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm doing that. Sometimes I'm breaking down games on WagerTalk. Sometimes we're just talking strictly sports. So like for me, when I'm not talking betting on some podcasts, it's a breath of fresh air. And then I miss it and I go back on a betting show and I'm like, all right, what are we betting on tonight? You know, so it's a nice little break for me. But that show that you do on the SDPN network, I really like that as well. And I love you and your co-host. It's hilarious. Like, as I have watched some of the episodes, when you guys are head to head. It's hilarious because you guys like looking at each other and you're like, I'm not changing my opinion. I'm not changing my
in
thought.
my opinion. No, it's Drew's good. Actually, I don't want to jinx it, McInnis. Like, we're in the super contest, and by no means, like, we're literally one game out of the money. The last 3 weeks, we've gone 12-3. You pick 5 games against the spread every week. I don't want to jinx it. We had 1 week when we went 0-5, or else we'd be like in the money, and it's good money. And I'll never forget that week. We screwed up so much, and I told Drew, I go, listen, buddy, this isn't over. Like, take every week like a different series, and there's 5-week windows where you can try to win money. You know what the problem is, McInnis? There's a million people in the contest, and one guy's like 15-0. I'm like, how the hell am I going to go 15-0 when I'm going 12-3? Isn't that good enough? It's like it's so hard. And Gabe and I talk about it. And I'm like, who the hell can go 15-0? Like, if you're going 15-0, God bless you. Start up your own betting syndicate, because
you must be close to a quarter, though, right? I know
Carmen
won a quarter one time. That's pretty good.
If we go 4-1 and 4-1, maybe. If we go 5-0, 4-1, probably. But I don't want to look too far ahead, and it's hard. But if we have another good week, then things will get serious. And I tell them, because we've done this. Me and Gabe have been in a contest before. We won a quarterly before. We went 14-1, and we sawed off. I think it was $20,000 US with our team. And it feels great. But I'm going to tell you, the final week, if you're in there, don't change your thinking, because your mind starts playing crazy tricks. You're like, ooh, I could pay my mortgage. I can go on that trip to Cancun. I could do, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about all the money I owe.
Everything,
and then I start like reaching on picks. It's really hard to stay in your lane and to keep doing what's made it work for you, rather than go nuts because you're thinking about money. That's the problem.
What's helped you get there? Exactly. I love it, though. People love sweating out those contests. And like you said, you almost... What's that saying? Like, study wrong, study long. I feel like people with those super contests, they're looking at the board like something's gonna just jump out. Like they're like mean mugging the screen, the odds screen. It's like, dude, if you like this team, just take them. You don't have to.
That's how I changed my betting, McInnis. Like, I'm not gonna say I do put work in, but I'm gonna tell you, the more I look at stuff, the more I drive myself crazy. Like, I go nuts, and I get off teams. Like, me and Drew talked about it yesterday. We did the show. I go, man, I like the Chargers. Initially, 3 days before, it's Minnesota. And then I'm thinking they get alt back, this, that, whatever. And I go, we're sticking with it. Let's not waver. This is what we're doing now. And then we try to do it. But it's hard, Andrew. I got to tell you, my mind is like, it's like that hamster on the wheel. He's always running and doing dumb things and stuff and trying to get me off things that I like. But I find looking at the board too long is not a good thing for me. I want to write down what I like earlier, do the research on it again. And for me, the way I do it, I just try to find traps too. That's kind of, everybody has their gambling approach. Why is the line this way? Why are people betting this side? What is happening here? Is there, like, you know what I mean? The books, Gabe was right. Like he said, they have a line, always respect the number, always respect the bookmaker. And sometimes these guys, they hang bait lines to try to fleece you. So, and sometimes it's just a bad line, and it's hard to figure that stuff out. That's why the casinos are there. For the other games, McInnis, I find it interesting. You and Morency are going against each other. I kind of lean Montreal after that loss to Calgary. How do you feel about that? They're a small dog.
Yeah, I think that the motivation is going to be there for them, but I think more importantly, Dobish has been unbelievable for the Montreal Canadiens. And as much as a Canadiens fan, I hate the fans are ripping on Montembeault right now. It's like, you know what I hate about Montreal fans, and I'm one of them myself, Cam? You can't ever have one guy playing well without them shitting all over somebody else. It's like, oh man, this goalie is fantastic. Too bad this guy sucks now. Like, that bothers me. It's like, our backup goaltender has been so good, and for years you guys wanted a backup. We finally got a backup, and you want him to be the starter now.
Exactly.
You hate the first guys, but
hockey fans are they're crazy. Like Gabe talks about Canuck fans, and I've been dealing with Leaf fans are panicking all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Even though they're not playing well, it's not over yet. It's just a disappointing start. But hockey fans are different than anybody. Like, they really like. It's like, hey man, the world's not ending yet. Like, we're gonna be okay. Hey, McInnis, a lot of panic.
They panic about everything, and they can't enjoy the moment. Like,
good call.
I think there was a big victory for the Habs, I think, over the Sabres. And I'm scrolling through my Twitter on my For You Twitter, and all the Habs fans are talking about which players they thought played bad tonight. It's like, let me know a couple guys you thought that looked pretty good. Look, the Vancouver Canucks, the only thing I worry about with this spot, they're going to be kind of pissed off too. They lost 5-1 to the Penguins, lost 2-1 to the Predators. You talk about respecting the numbers. That Penguins game on Tuesday, that was one of those ones where I looked at the odds screen. I said, what the hell is this price? It doesn't make any sense. And when a price doesn't make any sense, you take the team it doesn't make any sense on. So I actually took the Penguins against the Canucks in that one. But they're going to be coming back home after a road trip. So one thing that's kind of funny is Montreal is on a road trip themselves, but this is actually the first game back home after a road trip for the Canucks. So is it really a home game? I always say that to people when I'm talking about these situations. Even though it's a home game for Vancouver, it's not like it's really going to feel like a home game for them because they've been traveling around. They were in they played the Stars, the Blackhawks, Capitals, Penguins. Yeah, they were all over the place. So I like the Habs, I think, here, Cam. And also, it's hard to argue with this offense right now. Finally, Montreal's been involved in some overs. Sounds like you're with me on that one. Columbus and Pittsburgh. Columbus plays tonight on Friday night. So, of course, we don't know the score of that one.
I lean Columbus here, as crazy as it sounds. Like, I think if they lose, especially if they lose on Friday, I can tell you Columbus will be on my card. Pittsburgh's been overachieving. I think it's a small underdog play on Columbus. Ottawa is starting to get it together, but Washington seems like a cheap price. So, like, looking at the Saturday card, McInnis, and if Columbus loses Friday, I'm definitely going to take them. Columbus as a small pooch, Washington as a small favorite. LA Nashville's a tough game. And oh God, Carolina, Dallas. What a hockey game that is. Maybe Dallas.
What do you think about Ottawa right now, Cam? Like this Ottawa team, like the defense, people aren't happy. Thomas Chabot wearing the A, he's turning the puck over. Yep. I think Jake Sanderson's already twice the player Thomas Chabot is, but they've got him inked in for 8 years. And then Allmark's not playing very well. Like this team's kind of tricky. That seems kind of fishy to me. We want to talk about fishy lines. I know we're talking about a back-to-back here for the Washington Capitals, but that still seems to me like kind of a fishy line. I'm tempted to actually take Ottawa on Saturday night.
Yeah, I guess me and you will disagree on this one, but it's a tough game. But look at the scores that these guys have too, McInnis, like all tight games. Take a look at them. Like they're all tight. One goal. Like it's one of those things like, I want to take Washington, but you're right. That line seems a little bit light. And sometimes when it's a light line, it tells you that the dog is live. But I'll definitely tell you Columbus will be on my card as a pooch. I lean Washington in that spot.
And one team that like just consistently drives me crazy is Nashville. Like
I'm done with that team, by the way.
The arena seems fun to go to. I'd love to go to the arena sometime. It's nice. But like honestly, like when you look at the Nashville Predators, like do any of their games get you out of your seat? Like, could you imagine inviting some buddies over to have a few cold pops and you're watching a Nashville Predators game?
No, that's what I say. Like if I want to go to a hockey game and I'm broke, I'll go like when the Leafs are playing Nashville. Those are the tickets you can afford to have like 20 beers that night and take an Uber home and go out to the steakhouse. You know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah, those are the games that people are giving away. You're right. You never get excited for these guys. It's not like they have good players on their team. It's just the Nashville Predators don't really get you fired up about anything. It's just they're not. They in the old days they actually did though. When they made those playoff runs and they had those great teams. And I remember them in Vancouver used to have epic playoff battles. But yeah, Nashville's kind of meh. They're the meh of the National Hockey League. It's like, whatever, they're Nashville, but I don't even know who to bet on that. I see that game is meh to me. Like I lean LA, I guess, but I don't love it.
Yeah, exactly. Like so LA has probably been the team that's kind of screwed me this year, Cam. Yeah. Like I've liked them coming in offensively. I don't like their defense, but I also feel like they're not going to have to worry about much on defense because Nashville sucks at home. But then again, look, Nashville's coming off a game that they won't be happy about either. They just gave up couple goals in their previous game, and then they only scored 2 goals against the Canucks. Yeah, I'm not really too impressed by that. So you give up 5 goals against the Ducks, 4 goals against the Jets. You come back, big win for the Predators. You put up 2 goals like against the Canucks. I'm not really impressed by that. So I think we'll go with LA. And then just the last 2 games, anything you have on those ones?
The last 2 games are very, very tough. And we talked about it, McInnis. With all these sports going on, I don't want to reach. I lean Dallas at home against Carolina, which should be a very, very good game. At Edmonton, they've been kind of, what can you say about Edmonton? Defensively, meh. They're starting to score goals. The power play basically got them the win against Montreal. Maybe, what do you think about over in Edmonton, Seattle? Seattle actually might be a nice little live home dog at plus 140.
Yeah, I think that the thing is with Edmonton is their power play won them the game. And I'm a bitter Montreal Canadiens fan. But as you know, Cam, sometimes that can spark your offense. Like it's all about momentum. So Yeah, they were kind of gift wrapped at that win. People were heckling me on Twitter about that because I was complaining so much. But sometimes you need to see the ball go in the basket. It's like almost like even with a team, in basketball, like you get to the free throw line, you start getting some points the hard way. Then all of a sudden you'll start being able to get the nicer points. I feel like that's probably a good opportunity for them to score. And I've seen some books right now are popping up 6.5, 6.5. Maybe Seattle can score some more at home. Who knows? But this Edmonton team, man, you never know. I do like Dallas quite a bit. Carolina, it's hard to fade Carolina right now, Cam. They've had a fantastic season, but you got to pick and choose your spots. And this could be a spot. And you look at their schedule, they've played some easy-ish teams this year so far. And the ones that they played that were good teams, they kind of battled against.
I agree. This is a spot because Carolina's been really successful. This seems like a spot to me where Dallas is like, okay, let's bring it. Carolina's had a nice little road trip. I like the Dallas Stars in that spot. So, yeah, McInnis, we got a lot of games that we really, really love. No need to reach, but I guess in the card, Columbus will be a pooch for me. You lean Ottawa, Washington, I have to figure out, and Dallas. We'll take the Dallas Stars against the red-hot Carolina Hurricanes.
All right, that'll be our combo pick together here for the show. The Dallas Stars get the job done. Columbus, I like them as well. That is one unfortunate part about not knowing the result of Friday night, but I still think this team is battling. If Columbus, put it this way, if the Columbus players were wearing Chicago Blackhawk jerseys, everybody would love Columbus. Like if they're wearing Maple Leaf or Canadian jerseys, especially, like this Columbus team isn't bad. That Marchenko guy, he's unbelievable. He's really good. So a lot of games. And one thing you mentioned about, we're talking about the NFL contest with this new night show I'm doing here, Cam. It's helped my handicapping because I'm looking at the games a lot earlier, but also it's in my head a lot more. So I'm like looking at these games. I'm talking to the live chat and like we're talking and the live chat, they're telling me what they like. But I don't want what they like to always influence me.
How do you think I feel when I do 6 different shows with people? This guy I respect likes the Cleveland. The other guy on New England's a lock. I'm like, stop. I just got to bet what I got to bet. It's crazy. Yeah. And it's hard not to let people influence you when you do like 7 or 8 different things. You got to write down your stuff, figure it out. But people can change your opinion when they bring good points to the table. And it's very frustrating. But that's what happens in the gambling space. There's a lot of opinions out there.
Everybody looks at games differently. That's for sure. So, all right, Cam, let's start the day off with a good note. Let's cash some tickets early on. And it's a huge slate of hockey on Saturday. So can't wait. Thanks for joining me, man. And I know you're involved in a hell of a lot more sports than just hockey. So best of luck to you this weekend. Yeah. I'd love to see your bet 365 right now. You
active bet 76. Yeah, let's roll. Have a good one, McInnis. Take it easy, buddy.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care. See you. All right, guys, thanks so much to Cam Stewart for being with me. We got a ton of picks on Saturday, and every single week we're going to be here on Friday breaking down the games for Saturday's slate, every game on the board, going over things. You guys can follow Cam Stewart on X at Cam Stewart Live. Such a great guy and a really great follow as well. He does so many shows, and we always have a great time together. So there is a ton of games on tap in the NHL. I'm still making up my mind on some of these games, but there are certainly a few spots that we like. And Cam and I, we're on the same page with Columbus. We're on the same page with Dallas. Let's make some money. Let's cash some tickets, guys. We got a 3-pack up in the NHL. No big plays as far as 5%, but a couple plays that are going to be 3 and 4% plays out there you guys can grab. As far as Sunday is concerned, 5% play in the NFL on Sunday, 5% prop play. 16-6 NFL prop run. Cannot wait for this game. Cannot wait for this prop. Looking for a big day out of this guy, and we're going to hopefully cash a ticket. Let's have a great weekend, guys. Go Blue Jays, go. If you're watching baseball, go Jays, and hope you guys cash some tickets. Best of luck. Enjoy the hockey games on Saturday. I'll see you guys Monday night.